Johanna Chua is Asia-Pacific Chief Economist at Citi, joining us from Hong Kong today. It's curious to listen to those comments from China yesterday talking about the potential for double dip because of the European crisis. The cynic in me wants to ask you whether this is just political and all strategic to try and keep debate over the yuan at a minimum.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think it's clear from the statement that there's an exact forecast for a double dip, and we certainly aren't forecasting a double dip. But given that Europe is China's largest trading partner, about 20% of total exports go to Europe, and the sharp weakness in the euro has created appreciation of renminbi on a trade-weighted basis, I think that provides a little bit of a more cautionary tone. Having said that, I do agree. I do believe that China's growth is still pretty much on track this year. We are still forecasting 10.5% growth, and that's on the back of liquidity still being fairly loose, although we've seen some marginal tightening, and the overall sort of domestic demand story is still carrying its weight, as well as the U.S. looking on track for a recovery this year.
Johanna, we just got data out earlier on this morning, PMI numbers for May softening somewhat from April. What does that mean from a policy perspective?
Well, the softening of the PMI, I think, is pretty much expected. I mean, we've already seen some of the tightening measures domestically, which is creating some of the new starts, construction starting to slow down, and also, the fact that the global backdrop's a little bit weaker. And I think what that means is that although we still expect some policy action this year, we're probably not going to expect aggressive policy tightening. So we're only expecting maybe at most 2 hikes this year, starting in the third quarter. And we're still expecting some reform of the renminbi towards appreciation, but I think the size of the appreciation is going to be now much smaller than what was originally expected a couple of months back.
Okay, I got to ask you here, I mean, we're still about 2 days away, but we've got G20 finance ministers meeting Thursday, then the summit of leaders in July, and consensus seems to be, post the strategic and economic dialogue, we could see a 27 basis point move in June, followed by China allowing the renminbi to continue appreciating, but a very, very gradual and small move. You're not with the consensus on this, Johanna?
No, I think we expect that China's CPI inflation headline is going to peak around the third quarter. So we are expecting that the rate hike will happen sometime in the third quarter, perhaps not as soon as June. Now, in terms of the renminbi, we are still expecting a reform and some appreciation. We expect that the appreciation might come earlier than the rate hike. And that's really on the back that this sort of move towards more flexibility in the currency has been on the agenda for quite some time now, and is part of sort of the global rebalancing. So maybe the sequencing were a little bit different. So we're expecting renminbi appreciation possibly earlier than the rate hike. But having said that, I think there's a key risk that renminbi appreciation could be delayed on the back of what's happening with Europe. So Certainly. It's a little bit fluid.
Yeah.